Hey you, so a little bit of context before the show, as is the status quo. That was a little rhyme. Poet didn't even know it. Check that shit out. This is the second remastered episode, back from when this was a local radio show, with my guest Isabel Lote, who you will hear from very soon. Unfortunately, for the first minute and a half of this, my microphone was screwing up, but it is just the first minute and a half. Didn't want to cut it out, because it has the introduction, has some useful stuff. Izzy sounds great the whole way through. But if it is absolutely unbearable, if you jump forwards about a minute and a half from when the episode starts, you'll skip past that nasty, nasty stuff. It's up to you. Just choose your own adventure. But yeah, that's all you need to know, really. Here comes the title music. Welcome back to the show, where I talk to comedians in the know. That's right. It's never as funny. It's never as funny. The show is called Never As Funny. It's the name of the show, by the way. Never as funny. That's the gist of it. The name. The show's called Never. This is like the title music. It's called Never As Funny. All right. Welcome back to the show. This is Never As Funny, the show where I, Patrick, your lovely little host, talk to different Durham comedians. This week, my guest is a good friend of mine, a fellow comedy colleague. Another Keith compatriot, like with Arthur on my first episode. Her name is Isabel Lote. She likes to pronounce paracetamol in different ways every time. Say hello, Izzy.
Hello. Yeah, it's a real surprise with me. You never know what you're getting.
Exactly. It always feels semi-awkward asking this question to people I know, because obviously I kind of know the answer in general anyway. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what kind of stuff you're doing at the moment?
I mean, yeah, the reason that obviously I know you is because we're on the Fringe trip together. So the main thing that I'm working on at the minute is just making that the best sort of, unit it can be, working on a show currently. And then I'm also hoping at some point in sort of next term to organise like a kind of comedy cabaret night, specifically with obviously the aim of introducing more female performers within GST to comedy and just building that up, because obviously, I really like performing with all you guys. It's really great and I wouldn't change it for anything, but also occasionally I will write a sketch and I'm like, oh, it would be nice to have more female performers in comedy so that I can do more of this and more of these characters. So I'm just really trying to pull a few strings behind the scenes to get that a little bit more.
Absolutely, yeah. I always worry a little bit because, you can't have genderless roles, but sometimes I worry that in a sketch where I might be playing a girl that they can veer a little bit into the territory of doing the like, ooh, I'm a lady.
Yeah, well, there's a very like sort of Monty Python thing towards that, isn't it? Of just the whole like, which I don't think that, and this is gonna, if I get the guy's name wrong, then Christian's gonna kill me, but I think it was Terry Jones who was the one that always did the like, the sort of, woman voice, but it was actually just him doing a man voice, but it was a bit silly and high pitched, and I think
I see.
I suppose you can probably just like do your normal voice and be like, that would almost be funnier, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I was playing a man, I could do the whole like, oh, I'm a man voice, or I could just be like, hello, my name is Greg, and maybe there is like more. Yeah, it's.
I've just realized, so I'm sorry, I was fully listening to what you're saying, but I sort of had this panic look in my eyes just now, which you probably spotted, because I realized I had the wrong microphone on for myself. So that's a real great series of events at the beginning of this. But yeah, absolutely. I feel like when you're writing roles like that and you're doing the delivery for them, there's sort of a balance between making it funny, but also you don't want to... I feel like I can sometimes almost accidentally start realizing the silly voice I'm doing actually sounds like a real accent or something, which is not ideal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing for me is as well, just kind of as a female writer, it's just like it would be amazing to have more people who are really interested in doing that. And I think it is just genuinely like I really have a vested interest in obviously writing female characters who aren't either just like the straight character, I suppose, or kind of like, funny explicitly for something to do with them being female. Like obviously you can write, I absolutely like enjoy writing that comedy too, but I do sometimes just kind of enjoy having like just make a really funny character that could go to someone of any gender and specifically like choose to give it to a woman, because why not?
Representation is a good thing. Hot take.
Hot take, yeah. Wow, that's, really, to be fair, if you say women belong in comedy because women are funny, there are certain people probably who would think it as a bit of a controversial take, but yeah.
Those people suck, so if you.
Oh god, no, we're verging dangerously close to just like before we were kind of coming in here. Patrick was saying like you have to lay off the political opinions, because if you do say something like a really overt political statement, then we have to get someone else in within 2 weeks who has the opposite statement. So I'm not going to say that I think that women are funny, because then you've got to get some kind of incel male comedian in to prove me wrong in 2 weeks.
I feel like saying misogyny is bad that's a cool thing to say.
Okay,
I would say it's more a thing of stating specific political alignments, but
fair.
It's totally cool to.
I'm not overly fond of misogyny. I will admit that. Yeah,
too far.
It's crazy. So this is just turning into like your character from the podcast sketch that we've got in the show.
But yeah, okay. So, are there any female comedians or sketch actors that really stand out to you, or stood up to you?
Yeah,
stood up to you.
Like, what have I been doing to these female comedians that they need to stand up to me? So, I mean, the main one for a really long time was Victoria Wood, because I just love how versatile she is, and obviously kind of because I'm a woman, and obviously a northern woman as well. My mother was always like, oh my god, like, she's so great, and you're going to do comedy and become the next Victoria Wood. I enjoyed that she can do musical comedy. I enjoy that she did stand up and sketch, and kind of did like so many sort of multimedia things, and was very successful at all of them. You know, she can do sitcoms as well as kind of the shorter form stuff. But yeah, I really enjoy, I guess, how she she has this way of doing like sexual themed comedy, just making everything so unsexual to the point that it's just really funny. So like, the Ballad of Barry and Frida is just such a really outrageously kind of comical song. So I think she definitely, sort of to a certain extent kind of paved the way for being able to do that absurdist sexual comedy as a woman, and it not being seen as like taboo or kind of.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was you showed, so when I first got into Keith, because it was right before Christmas, we had our first meeting over Zoom, and we had to kind of go around and share sketches that we liked.
Yeah, we did. I had completely ignored Christian's messages on the group chat, and I was not aware that we had to post a video on the chat of people who we thought were funny, so I was kind of, while you guys were all like showing yours, I was listening, kind of, but also just kind of frantically thinking, shit, like, what do I find funny? Am I funny? Are people going to like think that my style of humour is funny? I need to find something funny, and so yeah, I went with Victoria Wood because she's just a classic, I think, and her and Julie Walters as well. So like the two of them, I think, were just a really good duo. Like, it gets to the point where also when you've worked with someone for 10 years and you just kind of like really intimately understand like their comedic style, I guess, and they just seemed very, very comfortable together. And I really liked that, you know, Victoria Wood would write incredible, amazing, funny sketches and then just give them to someone else. You know, she definitely, I think, just as a performer, but also as a writer and producer, as someone who occupied all those roles in the industry, I think definitely like knew how to balance them really well. So yeah, she's kind of an inspiration in that way as well.
So in general, I've been pretty naive to comedy, really. I only started doing it this year, and so I was kind of unaware of a lot of the classics, which I tried to play off when I was in that first call, because Christian, president of Keith, and the rest of you as well, would make references to sort of these classic things, like, well, of course, we all know the Fast Show. Which is not even really niche. It was very naive. And I fully remember in the moment I said something like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, we all know the Fast Show. While in the meantime, below the Zoom camera, like frantically Googling, what is the Fast Show? Who is Victoria Wood?
I'm going to let you in a little secret, Patrick. Half the time I'm also frantically Googling things on my phone.
Fantastic.
That's just, it's really bad. I'm a very fake comedy fan, just in terms of like, I think you get exposed to, like, obviously taste in humour is very subjective, so like the comedy that I saw obviously growing up as a kid was very just dependent on like what my parents enjoyed watching. So you kind of watch that and you think, oh yeah, it's great, it's really funny, and you don't always like branch out, especially just because sketch comedy, it like in the last sort of 10 years ago, definitely when we were growing up and discovering comedy, hasn't really been the prevalent thing. There's been a lot more influence of stand-up, so when I came into this, I'd seen much more stand-up than I had sketch comedy. So yeah, occasionally sort of Christian would make all these references and I'd sort of be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, definitely. It does seem like it's, I mean, this is sort of anti-plugging for Keith, really. We are really not helping our image, are we? Just being like, we know nothing about comedy, but come see us do it anyway. We're going against the grain. We don't need to know because we're tanking the marketing process. We're fresh, we're new. But yeah, it feels like sketch comedy is definitely almost awaiting a resurgence, I feel. I mean, we certainly need to hope that, I suppose. But God, if it's not, then we're in the wrong position. But it's definitely been a little while since there's been sort of any form of sketch comedy in a really prominent position on TV, so I think that it definitely would be nice to sort of go back to the roots of comedy a little bit and have some more of that.
I find it interesting how it can pop up in other types of... Quite often you'll see a clip from a show. So a good example, actually, recently, we were talking about Gavin and Stacey.
We were.
Because Ook Productions, DST drama group, I'll give them a little plug.
Yeah, give Ook a plug. We like Ook, they're cool.
Yeah, as long as they agree to pay me after the show. They do a sitcom play each year, and this year they're doing Gavin and Stacey. And I've never actually seen Gavin and Stacey, but I've seen a fantastic scene where James Corden's character is talking about getting an Indian.
Yeah, the bonus scene.
Yes, yeah.
Want my bonus? Pates are not my bonus. Oh no, I'm not good enough at a James Corden impression to do that live on radio, but there we go.
Than mine would have been. Do you want to give it another shot? I'm curious to hear it.
Oh god, no. It's because I can't remember the thing off the top of his head, but he's talking something about booners, isn't he? He's like, oh, you know, someone, probably Stacey, has ordered a korma. Has she ordered a korma, Mick? Yes, she has ordered a korma. But you're on up my bonus. Pete's on up my bonus.
That was great. It was like he was really here.
Thank you. It really was not, but I appreciate
I also
the niceness.
Yeah, you said, I'm not sure I remember the lines that well, and then you sort of went into it was very impressive. But yeah, I mean,
maybe I internalised more of it than I thought I did. I have one of my housemates, so I'll shout out my housemate as well. Hello, really loves Gavin and Stacey, so we watched like the whole of it, kind of binge watched it in my first year, and so there were a lot of good memories of that, just watching it in my room.
But yeah, that scene stands out to me as an example of something from a show which isn't a sketch show, but kind of stands on its own as a sketch.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it kind of then takes on a bit of a life separate from the show it's in. It's like, to borrow an example from America as well, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that like random cold open in season 5 with the guys all singing like the Backstreet Boys against in the sort of what's it called lineup
I've
thing.
Seen that,
kind of has like a separate fandom of its own. Loads of people who haven't seen the show will just watch that scene and be like, oh, this is so funny.
So yeah, I almost feel like they've survived in a way, becoming part of the makeup of other shows.
Yeah.
So what kind of non-sketch comedy are you into?
Ooh, I wouldn't say there's a particular medium, but it's kind of like within every medium I'll find sort of different comics who I love. So I suppose for sitcoms, at the minute it's probably got to be Derry Girls.
Yes, I love Derry Girls.
Love it. It's just so funny. Like, personally, I mean, maybe I'm just a bit of like a sap or a bit of a romantic, but I do love a good comedy drama.
Yes.
Like, yes. I do love shows, and I love BBC Ghosts as well, kind of for the same reason of like comedy that has really sustained character development and has really heartwarming stories and kind of interactions between characters, and I think manages to find comedy in something that is like really tragic. And I think that tragic comedies, it's a difficult line to balance, but I think that like Derry Girls just absolutely like gets it right every single time. And just the way that it will go, like just from like the most happiest, most elated moments in the show to the saddest moments in the same scene sometimes is just it's incredible.
It's fantastic. One of the last shows I cried at was BBC Ghosts.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just... Which episode was it that you cried at without spoiling it first?
I think it was multiple episodes.
Oh, bless you. No.
I'm trying to remember. The thing that always gets me, and I think it comes up a lot in comedy dramas, is like moments of friends coming together.
Oh, yeah.
Like moments where like, oh, they really do care about each other.
Yeah, have you seen season 4?
Yes.
Because there is an episode of season 4 where something happens to one of the ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the ghosts are sort of all, and it's just...
No spoilers for season 4 of Ghosts.
I cried. I genuinely cried at that episode. It was, just so... It's so beautiful.
It's such a fantastic show, because it's also very funny.
It is, it's so funny. Because, again, like, I think the Horrible Histories guys, in a way, probably were the people that sort of introduced me to sketch comedy, even though I wasn't really aware of it at the time, because I was, like, 10, so I saw this as, like, oh, history show, rather than, like, oh, example of sketch comedy, obviously being hilarious. But, yeah, it's just...
At 10 years old, you were sitting there like, what a fine example of masterfully crafted sketch comedy.
Yes, well, that punchline could have been stronger, but it had a good exposition. Yes, but the film they did as well, the Bill, like, movie that they did in something like 2015-ish. Oh, my God. My family could probably quote that movie by heart at this point. It's something that, like, every time I'm home for the holidays, we watch it at least once, and it just,
That's a good ritual. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you can just watch and never quite, like, become tired of, and also because there's so many jokes that I didn't get when I watched it when I was about 11 or 12 that I then now get, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they put that in a show for kids. But no, there's it's very British, I think, in a way. There's a very like pantomime almost element to it, just in terms of like theatrical. Whenever you go to see that, because I mean I haven't been to a pantomime in years, but I have a younger cousin. Maybe you might have to take her at some point just so that I can go and see how like adult pantomimes actually are when you watch them as an adult, because like how many.
I'm going to follow us up with a highly important question, very serious.
Okay.
so it's okay if you're thrown by it.
Yeah, alright, I'll try my best.
If it's too heavy. You're in a club.
Okay.
It's going great. Everybody's dancing.
I'm picturing it. Are you and Christian dancing back to back in this club?
Yes, we're dancing back to back.
Yeah.
You can see us. It's, I don't know, it's up to, are you embarrassed or are you excited by that? Is it a cool thing to see?
That you're dancing back to back?
Yeah.
I think if I didn't know you, it would be the kind of thing that I'd be like, I want to study those people under a microscope and see what is going on in their brains, that they think that is the way to dance. But yeah.
The question is, you get pushed into the center of the circle.
Oh. Okay, sorry,
what?
I think you saw my face there was a moment of like...
What shapes you cutting? How are you reacting in this situation?
I would just do a very embarrassing, sheepish hand jive in the centre of the circle.
Jive.
Yeah.
I love the hand jive.
I think, what was it? We were doing one of the rehearsals, weren't we, the other day? And oh yeah, because when we were doing the witches sketch where I was kind of waving my witchy arms, and then I realised, like, if I wave my arms in front of my face too much, I essentially just start, like, white girl dancing in a club, and it's just not the vibe that we want for Macbeth, but...
Yeah. You have a lot of great physical comedy moments in this show, actually.
Thank you.
I was losing my mind yesterday. We were rehearsing.
We were all losing our minds yesterday. Yeah. I mean, most of that was probably Arthur's Sean Connery impression as well. You're very snotty.
You're very snotty.
No, it was so fun because also, obviously, when you're doing comedy, the one thing that you want to happen is to have everyone just, like, break down laughing. Yeah. But also kind of paradoxically, like, if you're rehearsing a sketch and people are breaking down, like, it's great. And you're like, oh my God, this is so fun. I'm having so much fun. But also, I think because of the kind of person that I am, I'm a bit too, like, serious when it comes to rehearsals. I'm a little bit like, okay, you know, this is great, guys, but, you know, we need, like, let's get rehearsing. Let's do this. So obviously, like, you guys, I felt a bit bad in the end because you guys were all, like, breaking down, having the absolute time of your lives. And I was like, yeah, cool, but can you guys stop laughing, please? Because we're trying to do the sketch and it's very serious. When you do the sketch, no, stop laughing. You're distracting us.
That's so right, though, because I very much feel that. I felt bad because this happens even in regular theatre. I've had that experience of sometimes you just start corpsing and then you start laughing at the fact that you're laughing. Yeah. And it's just an endless loop.
It was because I was stood there doing my movie star voice and Audrey Hepburn and Arthur's doing Sean Connery, and I could just see Christian putting his head in his hands on the chair in front of me because he was just laughing so hard, and it was just
I could see veins standing out on his neck.
Seriously, I didn't think he was going to make it. I was just like, and then you get to the point, it's just like, okay, you know, come on, just no. I feel like at that point I'm then good at, in the audience, if we have the same reaction, I have to go, right, no, stop laughing. Why are you laughing? Stop laughing. You know, we're doing a sketch. It's very serious. Okay, calm down.
Settle down. Let us finish.
Yeah.
God.
All right, it's getting silly now. It's getting silly.
Weirdly, I didn't intend for this to happen, but segueing from the dancing question, I'm going to do our little music break.
Okay, that works. And it also kind of works with the title of the song.
Yes,
right? That I wanted. Yeah. We could have done this on purpose and it would have been very cool, but it was a complete accident.
What do you feel? Do you want to reveal the name of the song? Or do you want it to be a surprise?
I feel like I could reveal it. So it's one that I picked because my mum also loves it, and I have a lot of good memories of dancing around the kitchen with her to this song because I'm a sap like that, but it's I Don't Feel Like Dancing by the Scissor Sisters.
Excellent.
Yeah, enjoy.
Well, I made myself cringe with the ironic radio thing I was going to do. I was going to say something like, well, the song might be I Don't Feel Like Dancing, but listeners, I hope you do.
Oh.
We'll be right back. If I can find the music slider, because last week I said there was going to be a music break. I forgot to turn on the music slider, and everybody got to enjoy 4 minutes of silence.
Just complete silence.
And so last week I had on Ben Bradley from Shell Shock Improv. He, over the break, got really excited, and he said, when we come back, can you wait for me to do a joke? Because I've got a great joke lined up that relates to the song.
Oh, no.
And he did a joke that related to the song, but when it went out, there just would have been no.
So, no.
Sorry, Ben.
Oh, that was awful.
But it is time for Not Feeling Like Dancing.
Yeah.
Hey there, pumpkin. You like that? You like being called pumpkin? I know you do. This is the middle section of the show, new and improved, where to get around copyright restrictions, instead of playing the original song, I'm going to provide you with a dramatic lyric reading. So here we go. This is I Don't Feel Like Dancing by the Scissor Sisters. Wake up in the morning with a head like, what you done? This used to be the life, but I don't need another one. You like cutting up, carrying on, you wear them gowns. So how come I feel so lonely when you're up getting down? So I'll play along when I hear that special song. I'm gonna be the one who gets it right. You better move when you're swaying round the room. Looks like the magic's only ours tonight. but I don't feel like dancing when the old Joanna plays. My heart could take a chance, but my 2 feet can't find a way. As opposed to, my 3 feet, my 4 feet. You'd think that I could muster up a little soft shoe, gentle sway, but I don't feel like dancing. No sir, no dancing today. Don't feel like dancing. Even if I find nothing better to do, don't feel like dancing. Why'd you pick a tune when I'm not in the mood? Don't feel like dancing. I'd rather be home with the one in bed till dawn. With you. Cities come and cities go, just like the old empires. When all you do is change your clothes and call that versatile. You got so many colors, make a blind man so confused. Then why can't I keep up when you're the only thing I lose? So I'll just pretend that I know which way to bend, and I'm gonna tell the whole world that you're mine. Just please understand, when I see you clap your hands, if you stick around, I'm sure that'll be fine. But I don't feel like dancing when the old Joanna plays. My heart, do you know what, you know the chorus. You get the gist. You can't make me dance around, but your 2-step makes my chest pound. Just lay me down as you float away into the shimmer light. But I don't feel like dancing when the old Joanna plays. My heart could take a chance, but my 2 feet can't find a way. You think that I can muster up a little soft shoe, gentle sway, but I don't feel like dancing. No sir, no dancing today. Don't feel like dancing, even if I find nothing better to do. Don't feel like dancing. Why do you pick a tune when I'm not in the mood? Don't feel like dancing. I'd rather be at home with the one in bed till dawn. With you. Don't feel like dancing. Even if I have nothing better to do, don't feel like dancing. Why'd you pick a tune when I'm not in the mood? Don't feel like dancing. I'd rather be at home with the one in bed till dawn. With you. Alright, thank you very much. Back to the show.
And we are back.
Okay.
Song actually played this time, so that's a win.
Yeah, well, I hope that people enjoyed it. I definitely did.
I did.
Having a little dance.
Scissor Sisters is one of those bands where I'm aware of them, and I've heard a couple of songs, and I always feel like I should listen to them more.
Yeah.
But I haven't yet.
They're a pretty good band.
So, let's launch in somewhere else. Where do you see yourself kind of in the near or far future with regards to comedy stuff?
It's something that, if I had the opportunity, I would absolutely love to sort of have a go at making it professionally. I guess maybe just because there's not many other things so far I found that give me the same level of that I have the same level of passion for. It's definitely not my degree. I just if that was something that I could do, that would be really great. I think maybe even if I was just, I would love to be able to perform, but even if I was writing for shows and stuff, kind of ghost writing for BBC or something, it would be something that I would definitely like to give it a go with. Because obviously with my degree, I'm not going to be here next year because I'm doing a year abroad with the language degree and then coming back in 4th year, so hopefully I'll have some more time to just get involved in student comedy.
Yeah, for
here
sure.
in Durham is my other thing, is that I want to hopefully, this is the first time that I've ever done a podcast on Purple Radio in general, but especially to do with comedy, so I'd really like to come back and if you'll have me do some more comedy things here and just engage with more student comedy.
You're doing a lot better than I did on my first one. I'm lucky because my first one didn't go out, because I was on Truth Be Told later, but I was on one with Arthur.
You did mention this,
where the recording didn't work, and that one, it was fun, but I was so scared of being awkward and quiet that I sort of went the other way. And I sort of acted like I just had 30 Red Bulls before the show started. So,
to be fair, I feel like your general personality is normally either you've had no Red Bulls or you've had 30 and there isn't much of it in between.
That's so true. That's exactly who I am.
Just psychoanalyzing you live on radio.
That's such a good analysis of the person I am.
I would also like to point out that Patrick is currently wearing a t-shirt that says done, which I think is just very... you came in today and you were just this is evocative of my day right now.
I didn't even think about it before I put it on, which, I must have done it naturally. I think my mom bought me this shirt as well, which is...
that's cute.
She predicted that was how I was going to be feeling a lot of Saturday mornings. But Purple Radio is great. Definitely not biased, but
absolutely. Who would be? Does that mean that then if we say that we have to get someone from a different alternative student radio show to come on?
Anti-radio people. But no, very excited to see where the comedy stuff goes. It seems like a lot of cool stuff has started up this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's just, and I think that definitely we're kind of all a bit more like together, I guess, than we sort of were just because the first year that, I mean, I wasn't really in Keith as much last year because basically, like, a little secret, I auditioned and then didn't get in.
Oh.
Yeah, and then just because I wasn't a confident comedian last year, I'm barely confident in my own comedy now, but like last year I didn't. Honestly. I wrote my first 2 sketches for that first Keith audition and then just didn't really have as much confidence in myself. And so the main thing that I just love about doing this is that it's made me so much more confident and I have a much higher opinion of my ability to be funny now, which is nice.
Absolutely.
But I didn't get in. But then they were sort of like, well, yeah, that's something that I loved about Keith is that they were sort of like, well, we're not just kind of interested in you for the troupe, like stick around, write some more sketches, get better. And they really just gave me that space to grow and to keep writing. So I would just go along to the writers' rooms, and that was where I met Arthur as well. We would just hang out and write sketches together as sort of the 2 people that like weren't in the troupe. We'd kind of try to help each other get better. And then essentially what they sort of said is they were like, hey, some other people in the troupe can't do the show. We have some spaces. Do you want to come and do a show with us? So we were like, yeah, of course.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And then it literally just went from there. So I didn't really know many other people in the comedy scene last year. And then obviously this year, it's maybe we've been like, I think podcasts like this are really helpful for just like, I know the Durham Review a lot better than I knew them last year. And it's really great to like have that kind of thing of they'll kind of come along to our hotboxes and sort of say hi and like give us some nice feedback on the sketches that they've seen. And it's just really, really lovely to have that. If you're a comedy nerd as well, it's just nice to be able to talk about comedy with some people outside of a little troupe.
I mean, that's what the point of the show is allow me to geek out with people about comedy who won't be annoyed by it. It's a really lovely vibe, the whole comedy scene here. For the most part, it doesn't feel... I mean, aside from obviously there's audition processes. Yeah. But it feels very welcoming and easy to try stuff out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like auditions are never going to not be stressful, but I think what we're aiming to do with Keith and what I'd obviously, if I had the opportunity to carry it on in my 4th year, what I would really want to just do with that is really branch out of just the troupe, because it's not just about the troupe, it's about everybody else as well, and just to really give people the chance to take on comedy is a bit of a lower commitment as well. If people are like, well, the thought of like going to Fringe and having that much commitment on my shoulders kind of scares me, then it can be like, well, yeah, you can do it as a just a hobby and kind of do it.
Absolutely.
More. I mean, I say hobby, like it's technically still a hobby when we do it, but yeah, you can do it like with a lot less stress if you want to do that and kind of come in and put as much time as you want to into it and to improve in a way that doesn't have the sort of high pressure environment that it maybe seems as though it's all too easy, I think, when you're in any sort of like theatre production to almost create it yourself because like, especially
you set standards and
I think we're all a bit kind of perfectionistic in Keith, to be fair. I think we definitely all want it to be the best that it can be.
I mean, we both know a lot of people who come along to the Keith hot boxes, people that will show up to those with sketches they've written and perform, and they will just drop in and out of hot boxes, and that's all the sketch comedy that they really want to do. They don't want to commit to doing big shows or anything like that, and that's totally cool. And the stuff they do is great, but that's specifically the amount of involvement they want, which is nice. It's great that people can do that.
And it's a great environment. I mean, it's a nerve-wracking environment because obviously you're stood there performing something that you've written, and you're a bit like, oh, are people going to like it? But also, like, there's no better way to kind of find out which stuff is really, really good. Yeah. As if you can stand up there in a pub full of, like, sort of 25 people and just perform something. And it gets laughs. Like, it's just such a great feeling because it feels really, really, like, raw and authentic. And, like, just the vibe that you have there is just, like, just really, really great.
The immediate reaction you get from people is fantastic.
Yeah, I like that it's a little bit rough and ready, I think, and obviously like we have the space to obviously the shows that we do are then a lot more like tighter rehearsed and a lot more practice, but it is nice that we don't maybe lose the kind of raw element of it as well.
I find that addicting about the hot boxes, the feeling of a challenge of getting people to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when you succeed, it feels great, and when you don't, the great thing is that you're doing it with a bunch of other people who you've gotten to know well, and so you all kind of pat each other on the back and go like, oh, that didn't go well, we'll work on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just it's the best way, I think, to just get an immediate reaction of like what's working and what isn't. Like, it's a really good judge of that.
But people laugh, especially with the environment we have. People want to laugh. Sometimes with bigger stand-up shows, there are people who like, I'm going to go and heckle and challenge the comedians.
Yeah, I'm so funny. Yeah. It's just, but no one kind of turns up to the hot boxes to throw tomatoes at you and sort of go, get off the stage, which is very nice.
Although that would be That actually physically happening would be kind of great. I would take tomatoes.
If someone went to the effort of investing in some tomatoes specifically to throw at me to tell me that I was terrible, I'd be like, well, appreciate the effort. The fact that you've gone to this amount of effort to do that for me, is nice still in a way.
Yes, 100%.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I sort of didn't give you feedback because I was trying to figure out a way of segueing tomatoes into the sketch you brought in, and I was coming up nothing.
Oh yeah, it's a very different sketch.
Yeah. Would you like to say what the sketch is called?
So it's called the DFS Sale.
Excellent.
I might need you to double up as a couple of roles in this, Patrick, if that's
I'll take it on.
Okay with you.
I'll suffer for the art.
The DFS sale is still on. Yes, that's right, it's still on. You've seen so many adverts for her brilliant prices on extremely mediocre sofas and settees, you must be wondering by now, when is the sale going to end? Well, today is not that day. Now, here's a message from a satisfied customer.
I used to hear about this sale in between reruns of the Tweenies when I was young and still had hope for the world. I'm still hearing about it now, in between reruns of Tipping Point, as I come to the long-awaited realisation that though my hopes and dreams may have sailed into this abyss of wasted potential and missed opportunities that seems to be slowly consuming each and every one of us, that hole in my heart doesn't bleed quite as much as a half-price chintz armchair.
That's right. Here at DFS, our furniture may be middling at best, but the adverts for our ongoing sale are the one fragment of your childhood that hasn't been consumed by the hellscape of modern society. So, why not head on down to your nearest store today and pick up a truly irresistible deal on futons, because DFS will always be here for you. And we're never, ever going away.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a devastating message. A hydrogen bomb was detonated over the city of London. Thermal radiation has scorched the landscape. The fires have even spread as far as Milton Keynes. Buildings are in ruins. Houses have been destroyed. It is, as of yet, unclear how many...
But never mind that! Go on, off you go. Because the DFS sale is still on. Swing by the gaping crater in the concrete where our store used to be and check out our 2-for-1 offer on slabs of discarded cement. Strong, robust, and only emitting mild quantities of ionizing radiation, it's the perfect perch for all the family.
Yeah, I love that. Was really good, and I was so caught off guard.
That was amazing for a first read through as well. Like, you absolutely picked that up so well.
You almost gave CBBC sort of story time vibes.
It's kind of what I was going for, just like too happy. Kind of kept the stage direction in of just the smiling brightly, too brightly, because I felt like it kind of just like conveyed the vibe that I wanted to go for with the character. But
one thing that's interesting, when I asked for a sketch in email before the show, you sent me, depending on how much time we had, you said we could do, that was the longer one.
Yeah. I think I came up with this like last summer, just like the thing about the DFS sale, just kids literally still here and everything. And so it's gone through various different phases because it's not really a consistent sketch. Obviously, if I was going to do it in a show, the nuclear bomb being dropped thing be like more broken up for continuity purposes. So I sort of had the main body of the sketch being like, oh, this is a creepy presenter being like, hey, it's here. And then I was like, oh, hang on, if we have something to fill the time, I could just put the nuclear bomb could happen straight away, if for radio format. That's something that I quite like that we're doing with Keith at the minute. There's not really any hard and fast rules in terms of interconnectivity, and the kind of the way that sketches are linked together is that we're breaking certain sketches up and popping them like in random places throughout, and we're joining sketches together and kind of finding different ways to experiment with that, so that I think people don't really know entirely what they're going to get, which I quite like. There's something quite like rough and ready and just experimental about that.
A lot of fun to see, especially in rehearsals.
Finding the connections, or like, the lack of connections occasionally.
Like Arthur's Sean Connery connection.
Well, Arthur's Sean Connery voice just deserves a whole podcast episode of itself, to be honest. It's
that combined
majestic.
With the Audrey Hepburn voice.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of which, you guys are in a treat for... I got so excited about plugging this. I started to say,
oh no!
Would you like to have the honour of plugging?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat. If you want to see Arthur do a Sean Connery impression while I do an Audrey Hepburn impression, Keith is doing a show on Friday the 10th and Saturday the 11th at 8 p.m. It's in City Theatre. And all the proceeds will go towards supporting Keith at Fringe this summer, because that's something that we just has been the dream for like so many years. And it's a fun show. It's a bit experimental, a bit wacky.
Yes.
There's a couple of maybe favourite sketches coming back, and there's also a lot of new ones, and it's going to be a really good time.
I genuinely think that you guys will laugh because I've been
We have
every
been
rehearsal,
like just we've been doing rehearsals all week and we just haven't stopped laughing. It's inconvenient. We're not getting anything done because we're just cracking each other up so much. But it's going to be a really good time. It's going to be great. I'm really, really excited for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please come. Bring your
please
friends,
come and see it, please.
your family, your children. Bring yourselves
Bring your
before
neighbour's
us.
butcher.
Send us.
He doesn't know him, but he might enjoy it. You never know.
You said that like it was a classic phrase.
Just as you do.
Yeah, send us your neighbour's butcher.
Send us him. What are we going to do with him?
Bring him to us.
No.
A little bit of audience participation. Send in your neighbour's butcher to the show.
Yeah, there we go.
Is there anything else Keith related we should plug?
I think that might be it for now. I'm sure that I'll think of something 5 minutes after this ends.
Yeah.
Like, I should have mentioned, Gerald, our resident alligator mascot who's running the London Marathon for charity, but, it's just...
And on that bombshell, I have been Patrick. My guest has been Isabel.
I have been Isabel. I will continue to be Isabel when this ends.
I hope so. Do your best, at least.
I'll try.
This has been Never As Funny. I was going to say good night, but it's not nighttime, so just good lunch, I guess, and see you next week.
All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. More coming soon. So, you can find the show on Instagram at NeverAsFunny, all one word, all lowercase, spelled exactly how you would expect. The music used for the title theme, as always, is There It Is by Kevin MacLeod, and the music for the middle section, the dramatic lyric reading, was Interplay, also by Kevin MacLeod, both from Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license, creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0. See you next time.